Hello, Matri, and you're watching Morning Pulse on Hornbill TV. Union Minister of State and PJP leader Raksha Karse stated that under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the government is introducing a historic women's reservation bill, ensuring 33% reservation for women in Parliament and state assemblies. She emphasized that this step will significantly boost women's participation in policy making and governance.
मेरा नमस्कार और सभी को धन्यवाद भी देना चाहूँगी कि आज सब आप आज एक ऐतिहासिक निर्णय के इस अवसर पे आप सब लोग यहाँ पे आए आज इसके प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के अवसर पे। जैसे अभी यहाँ पे बताया गया कि 16 तारीख से नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम लागू होने जा रहा है हमारे लोकसभा में और राज्यसभा में, और उसके लिए एक स्पेशल सेशन भी बुलाया गया है। और मुझे लगता है कि एक भारत के लोकतंत्र में एक सबसे बड़ा ऐतिहासिक निर्णय आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के माध्यम से और सरकार के माध्यम से लिया जा रहा है कि जो हमारे देश के सभी महिलाओं के लिए एक निर्णयकारी एक पहल सरकार के माध्यम से की जा रही है। जो आज की हम देख सकते हैं कि आज लोकसभा में और विधानसभा में कई महिलाएं अपना अपना प्रतिनिधित्व कर रही है, और आगे चल के इस रिजर्वेशन के माध्यम से 33% रिजर्वेशन हमारे देश के सभी महिलाओं को लोकसभा और विधानसभा के लिए मिलने वाला है। और मुझे लगता है कि सिर्फ ये सीट बढ़ने की बात नहीं है, तो निर्णय प्रक्रिया में भी महिलाओं का काफी बड़ा योगदान रहेगा। और जब हम विकसित भारत की जब बात करते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि महिलाओं का पॉलिसी बनाने में एक काफी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहेगी, क्योंकि आप सभी लोगों ने भी देखा होगा कि जब इलेक्शन आता है, कोई भी इलेक्शन जब आता है, तो 50% वोट शेयरिंग हमारे महिलाओं का रहता है। और पिछले कुछ सालों से ये वोट शेयरिंग भी परसेंटेज वाइज हमें बढ़ता हुआ दिख रहा है, क्योंकि महिलाओं का पार्टिसिपेशन इलेक्शन में भी काफी एक्टिवली बढ़ता हुआ दिख रहा है। और मुझे लगता है कि एक अभी सही समय है कि महिलाओं का उनका अधिकार लोकसभा और विधानसभा में इस रिजर्वेशन के माध्यम से मिलना चाहिए, जो कि मिलने जा रहा है हमारी सरकार के माध्यम से। जब हमारे लोकल इलेक्शन जो होते हैं, जो लोकल जितने भी हमारी बॉडीज है, वहां पे नियर अबाउट 50% रिजर्वेशन है। ग्राम पंचायत से लेके नगर निगम तक, नगर परिषद तक हम देख सकते हैं कि आज 50% महिलाएं वहां पे काम कर रही है और काफी अच्छी तरह से काम कर रही है। और कहीं उसमें से ऐसी महिला है कि जो आगे बढ़ के लोकसभा और विधानसभा में भी अपना नेतृत्व सक्षम तरीके से वो निभा सकती है। और मुझे लगता है कि एक इस दिशा में जो कदम आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने खास करके महिलाओं के लिए जो इस नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम के माध्यम से लिया जा रहा है, तो आने वाले भविष्य के लिए और आने वाले हमारे इस देश के लिए काफी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाने वाला है। और खास करके मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि आज ये निर्णय हो रहा है, लेकिन इसकी शुरुआत आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने 2014 से ही कर ली थी। और आपने देखा होगा कि 2014 में देश के पहले प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र भाई मोदी जी है कि जिन्होंने महिलाओं के बारे में लाल किले के माध्यम से बात रखी। वहां पे उनके लिए, उनके हेल्थ के लिए वहां पे बोला गया, और उस तरह से सभी मिशन की शुरुआत की गई। आज हम देख सकते हैं कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा योजनाएं आज महिलाओं को समर्पित है, महिलाओं के माध्यम से आगे बढ़ते हुए हमें दिख रही है। आज अगर ग्रामीण क्षेत्र की हम बात करें, क्योंकि मैं भी एक छोटे से गांव से आती हूँ, आज तीसरी बार आज लोकसभा में मैं हमारे पार्टी की तरफ से मैं पहुंची, और मुझे लगता है कि जिस तरह से भारतीय जनता पार्टी मतलब पार्टी ने जो सपोर्ट किया है और उसकी वजह से मैं आज यहाँ तक पहुंची हूँ, तो मेरी जैसे ऐसी अनेक महिला है जो कि ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में अच्छी तरह से काम कर रहे, और आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ग्रामीण क्षेत्र की महिलाओं को आगे बढ़ने का भी मौका दिया। और जैसे मैंने बताया कि आज जो हमारी घरकुल की आज योजना जो चलती है, जो प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना है, आज नियर अबाउट 72% आज महिलाओं के नाम पे हमारे घरकुल योजना हमारी चल रही है। आज मुद्रा योजना की हम बात करें तो वहां पे भी ज्यादा से ज्यादा महिलाओं का महिलाओं को कैसे आगे बढ़ा सकते, इसलिए हम बात कर रहे हैं। लखपति दीदी आपने देखा होगा कि आज पूरे देश में हर एक गांव आपको मिलेगा कि जहां पे हमारी आज लखपति दीदी बन चुकी है सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के माध्यम से, जो सबसे बड़ा योगदान दिया है जो आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने 2014 के बाद दिया है। क्योंकि पहले एक जमाना था कि सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप सिर्फ नाम के लिए या कहीं कम जगह पे दिखाई देता था, लेकिन आज की अगर स्थिति हम पूरे देश की अगर देखें तो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप आज हर गांव में, हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में आज हमें दिखाई देता है और उनके माध्यम से इस देश की इकोनॉमी की ग्रोथ करने के लिए सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप का काफी बड़ा योगदान रहा है। मेरा बोलने का यही इसमें मकसद है कि गांव से लेके तो दिल्ली तक हमारी महिला किस तरह से सक्षम हो सकती है और उसे करने के लिए ये अधिनियम, ये बिल हमारे लिए काफी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाने वाला है। और मुझे लगता है कि जिस तरह से मैं यहाँ तक पहुंची हूँ तो आने वाले भविष्य में मेरे जैसे अनेक युवा, अनेक महिलाएं लोकसभा तक पहुंचेगी, वो अपने विचार यहाँ पे रखेगी और इस देश को सक्षम तरीके से चलाने के लिए, इस देश का नेतृत्व करने के लिए हमारी महिलाओं की भी उतने ही बराबर की भागीदारी आने वाले दिनों में हमें दिखाई देगी।
JP Nada said Tamil Nadu, once known as cradle of one of the world's oldest civilizations, has now turned into a crime capital, blaming the Dravitra Munitra Kazhagam for misgovernance. He alleged that the party functions as a family-run setup led by M.K. Stalin and claimed that it has failed women, youth and farmers. He added that voters will hold the party accountable in the upcoming elections.
Auspicious occasion. When I talk about Tamil Nadu, I always say that it is the cradle of one of the world's oldest civilization. And we are proud of it. Every Indian is very proud of it, that when we talk about Tamil Nadu, it is cradle of one of the world's oldest civilizations. And today when we have to talk, we will always remember Saint Thiruvalluvar and Bhartiyar, whom we always look towards with full of reverence. But when I talk about the present situation, when I talk about the present government, when I talk about the DMK government and its allies, I find that this cultural capital has now been converted into a crime capital. And that we have to understand, that it is now converted into a crime capital. And when I say so, the Tamil Nadu or the Tamil state itself did not fail at any point of time. But it is the DMK who made it fail the Tamil Nadu on all fronts. That's what we have to understand. And when I say what the pulse of the people is, that the whole state, there is full of resentment against DMK, against this dynastic family rule, and against the crime and corruption, and against its allies also. It's full of resentment, which I find. And in this election, you will see, we will see, that the people will expose this unholy alliance and with the DMK that we are going to see. When we talk about the dynastic family, it's a family party where Stalin is at the top, and Udaynidhi is the heir, and Kanimozhi is the partner, and Sabrisan is the manager. This is how this party is working. It's a family rule. And when I talk also about it, that it is really a jolt to the pride of the Tamil culture that we have to understand at this point of time. When I talk about DMK, they have betrayed the faith of the women, they have betrayed the faith of the youth, they have betrayed the faith of farmers, they have betrayed the faith of the working section, they have betrayed the faith of the marginal section of the society. That we have to understand. In the last 5 years, if I talk about the crime, I could understand when Nayanar Nagendranji was speaking in Tamil, but I could get the gist of it. He was talking about the crime situation. I would like to elaborate about the crime situation. If I talk about murders, you will be astonished that 8,008 murders have taken place in past 5 years. And if I talk about sexual assaults, if I talk about the gang violence, that has penetrated in every street of Tamil Nadu, every village it has reached. That we have to understand.
On the arrest of IPAC co-founder Vinesh Chandel, Advocate Vikas Pawar said Chandel was detained in the evening and produced before a special judge late at night, with proceedings continuing past midnight and the order issued earlier morning. He questioned the urgency of the late night hearing, noting that authorities had 24 hours to present the accused. Pawar added that IPAC is a professional political consultancy that has worked with multiple parties including Bharatiya Janata Party and Indian National Congress and has no fixed ideology. He argued that the current case stems from older investigations linked to a coal scam despite charge sheets already being filed. He further stated that the fresh allegations, cheating, conspiracy and financial irregularities appear vague and at most relate to tax or GST violations, which he claims do not constitute consignable offences under the law.
We were, I think he was arrested somewhere around 7:45 in the evening, and the family was informed that he'll be taken to the Patiala House Court. So we all reached there around 9:30, knowing that he will be produced there. Later on, we learned that he will be produced in the residence of the special judge of Patiala House, and that was somewhere in Paschim Bihar. So we all rushed there, and we reached the house of the Honorable Judge, and the Honorable Judge was very courteous to welcome so many lawyers, about 15-20 lawyers and huge staff. And then the hearing took place late at night till about 12 o'clock. And then the order was dictated, and order was released somewhere in VV hours in the morning around 4 or 5. So first thing which I would like to point out is that when an accused is arrested at 7:45 in the evening, you have 24 hours to produce him in the court. Where was the need to take an accused at midnight in an odd hour, requesting a judge to take up the matter, requesting the judge that please, we will be using your private time, personal time, and as I have told you the timeline, the entire night was utilized in this case. So the court, the Code of Criminal Procedure and the Constitution both says that within 24 hours you can produce the accused in the court. So in my humble view, and I really don't understand the reason why the Enforcement Directorate did this exercise of utilizing the entire night for producing someone before the judge. This is the first point I would like to make. Second is that this person is the director of a company called IPAC. IPAC is a company which helps the political party in conducting elections. They are professional people. They first study the area. They have an understanding about the area where the elections have to be conducted, and then they accordingly guide the political party. This company does not have any ideology. So they are doing a professional duty. They have given advice to BJP, they have given advice to Congress, they have given advice to various other parties. It's part of their job. Now, we all know that there are elections which are happening in the country. We have election in West Bengal, we have election in Tamil Nadu. This company is advising political parties there. So the involvement of this company came for the first time on 8th of January 2026 when their offices were raided in West Bengal. And the case which was being investigated by Enforcement Directorate at that point of time is a case with regard to coal scam, which is of 2020, about 6 years back. So those cases have already been investigated, charge sheets have been filed, prosecution complaints have been filed by the Enforcement Directorate. Still, the Enforcement Directorate used that case to conduct the search. Although IPAC had nothing to do with those cases, with those allegations. They conducted the search, they called the directors for investigation. Two of the directors, one who's stationed in Tamil Nadu, the other who's stationed in West Bengal, they both challenged those summons in the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court hearing is going on. It was going on even till yesterday, and now the case is listed for Friday. While the Delhi High Court is hearing the issuance of summons to the directors of the IPAC, these new cases have been registered. Now, I presume that the new case where the allegation made by Enforcement Directorate is with regard to cheating and
Senior advocate Sanjay Hedge, appearing for Manish Sisodia, said that Arvind Kejriwal had raised objections to Justice Swarana Kandarsharma hearing the case, citing earlier detailed orders that may indicate a preformed view. He added that as per the Supreme Court, the key test is the likelihood of bias and the matter should ideally be heard by another judge.
केजरीवाल के जो भी 10 पॉइंट्स थे, किन किन कारणोंवश वो चाहते हैं कि जस्टिस स्वर्णकांत शर्मा जी ये मैटर ना सुने। बेसिक पॉइंट यही था क्योंकि पिछले जो कई सारे हियरिंग्स हुए हैं उसमें डिटेल्ड ऑर्डर्स पास हुए हैं, जिसमें से काफ़ी एक स्ट्रॉन्ग व्यू बना है। उसके बाद बेहतर यही है कि कोई और जज ये मैटर सुन ले।
आपकी तरफ से भी दलील दी गई सर, मनीष सिसोदिया की तरफ से
जी हाँ,
क्या दलील रखी?
नहीं, हमने भी वही दलील रखी और कई सारे सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जजमेंट सब पॉइंट आउट किए थे, या सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी कहा है कि अगर कोई जज किसी मामले में एक पर्टिकुलर व्यू लिया है तो टेस्ट ये नहीं होता है कि जज बायस्ड है या नहीं, क्या लिटिगेंट के जहन में एक रीजनेबल एप्रीहेंशन हो सकता है या नहीं। टेस्ट है लाइक्लीहुड ऑफ बायस का, सिर्फ बायस का नहीं है।
सर, अरविंद केजरीवाल ने ये कहा कि ये मुवक्किल और जज के बीच की बात है, सीबीआई का लोकस नहीं बनता है तो उसको शामिल नहीं किया जाना, ऐसा संभव है?
देखिए वो तो ये जज साहब रूल करेंगे। वो केजरीवाल साहब अपने पक्ष को खुद रख रहे थे। हाँ कि जज साहब ने कह दिया कि उन्होंने अच्छी वकालत करी है। हमने जज साहब को कह दिया था कि और उन्होंने कहा कि केजरीवाल साहब वकील बन सकते हैं, तो हमने जज से मांग की कि हमारी कंपटीशन ना बढ़ाए।
आपने भी कहा जेल में रहकर लोग अच्छे वकील बन जाते हैं।
नहीं, हमने ये कह दिया था कि मैं बहुत सारे ऐसे केसेस जानता हूं जहां लोग जो जेल में थे अच्छे वकील भी बने हैं, अच्छे जज भी बने हैं। मैं जस्टिस कृष्णा अय्यर का जिक्र कर रहा था, जो खुद जेल में रहकर जब बाद में सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज बने थे तो उन्होंने वो लिखा भी था कि हमारे जो मूल हक है, फंडामेंटल राइट्स है, जेल के सलाखे के पीछे खत्म नहीं होते।
JP Nada outlined key promises in the manifesto, saying that under the All India Anna Dravida Munitra Kaskam Alliance, 2,000 monthly assistance will be given to women heads of households along with a one-time 10,000 support per family. He added that free LPG cylinders will be provided annually. He said measures to improve safety include zero fire reporting, victim witness protection, fast-track courts for serious crimes and 100% CCTV coverage in buses, schools and universities, along with better use of the Nirbhaya Fund. For economic empowerment, he announced interest-free loans up to ₹50 lakh for women-led groups and MSMEs, a 20% procurement quota for such cooperatives and ₹25,000 support for women to purchase e-scooters. For farmers, he said the ₹6,000 annual benefit under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi will be topped up by ₹3,000, taking the total to ₹9,000 per year.
We see to it for that the highlights of the key highlights of the manifesto is that we will be providing a monthly assistance of ₹2,000 to all women heads of the households and a one-time sum of ₹10,000 to every household when we come to power under the AIDMK leadership. We'll be providing 3 LPG cylinders free of cost every year. To tackle crimes, we will start zero FIR reporting. We will have victim witness protection, and we will have special fast-track courts for heinous crimes and including sexual offences. We will have 100% blind spot-free CCTVs in buses, schools and universities. And we will optimize the Nirbhaya Fund utilization that we are going to do. We will empower the cooperative led by women. Now, when we say women empowerment, we talk about women-led empowerment. And that is why women-led cooperatives, the self-help groups, the MSMEs with interest-free loans up to 50 lakhs will be provided. And manufacturing units will be mandating that 20% of the procurement quota will go to these cooperatives that we are going to do. The same way, we will have 25,000 eligible women to purchase, we will be giving 25,000 to the eligible women to purchase e-scooters. And for farmers, the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, where you get 6,000 rupees per year, we will be providing a top-up of 3,000 rupees. So 9,000 rupees per year will be given to every farmer. That is what we are going to do. The same way for the Cooperative Cotton Growers Federation will be set up, and within the radius of 100 kilometers, we will also support for tomato, mango, banana and chili, and eliminate the storage losses by establishing a panchayat level small steel silos for grains and pulses, cold storage for fruits, vegetables and flowers, and block level market connector hubs with transit silos, and district level strategic reserve large steel silos for keeping for the storage. The same way, we will be giving a one-time grant of 50,000 to small and marginal farmers for setting up of animal husbandry, cattle rearing, shrimp farming, beekeeping and poultry farming. For fishermen, we will be increasing the fishing ban aid, which we give to 8,000, will be increased to 12,000 rupees per year. Lean period allowance will be increased from 6,000 to 8,000, and we'll be giving 2,000 rupees pension for every person, every fisherman above the age of 60. For youth also, we'll be giving 1 lakh jobs, free coaching for toppers, district coaching centers with Tamil options, and skills census and industry-linked training, that is we are going to give. And same way, we will be dedicating weekly hour training for AI and robotics and practical labs in every block resource centers to the aspiring 12th pass students we are going to do. The same way, there are many for skill development. We'll be starting a skill development university with campuses in all zones and for imparting the new age technologies. And for culture, as I said, we'll be having the festival of Thaipusam in the state festival, honor the Murugan, and the same way, we will be re-establishing a protected throughout the year, the Kirtigai Deepam, that we are going to do, and the same way, the culture, the language and the folk of Tamil will be also encouraged, and we will be giving in all temples monthly essentials, that is camphor, ghee, oil, rice and kumkum for 25,000 rupees annual endowment for function and maintenance. So this is how we are going to take care of the religion and the culture.
That's all we have for now. Keep watching Onbel TV.